Hello, and welcome to the Mommy Escape Time podcast. I am Lauren, your host, and I have a 1-year-old son. I started this podcast for any mother who might feel alone in their journey through motherhood. Becoming a mom is hard no matter how you get there, and this podcast is about the mom stuff that comes up in our lives. Listen, enjoy, and connect with us on the Mommy Escape Time podcast. Hello, and welcome to the Mommy Escape Time podcast. I am Lauren, your host, and no, there's no other guest today. I am working on it. I think this is my first official week off totally of work, and I am just trying to not do anything extra. I am just trying to do the bare minimum this week because last week we only had 2 days of work, and it totally burnt me out. So I'm just working on just being here right now. So today's topic is going to be like easy, quick lunches for moms. And there's like a lot of different ones that you could probably look up and things like that. I am going to talk about more basic ones. I found that, as with most shows, I'm going to do the regular show first, and then I'll talk a little pandemic update at the end in case, years from now, people don't want to hear about that stuff. Or if you don't want to hear about it at all anymore. So I think being home and not having any meal at work or by myself, it has been a huge struggle for me. There is at no point where I'm not making at least a meal for someone else and myself. Even when we were at home and my son went to daycare, I was still making my husband a breakfast every morning, except one day a week. And it was like that one day was so amazing because I would just make my breakfast at my own pace and I could just make it the way I wanted. And then I could sit down and everything would still be warm. And I just could enjoy my tea. I loved it so much. And I miss that so much. Sometimes I don't even eat lunch now until after my son takes his nap, even though that's like that till 12:30, 12:45 some days, because I just want to sit there and enjoy a meal on my own where I don't have to get anyone anything. I don't have to prepare anything. It's just, I could just sit down and enjoy it at the temperature that I cooked it so that I could eat it. I've just given up on all other meals now. So sometimes breakfast gets to me in the morning and I like can't handle it anymore. And I just kind of like everyone's on their own for breakfast and I'm not doing anything. But lunch is a different story. And I think the hardest part now is that when my son was in daycare, obviously I had to prepare his lunch ahead of time and then send it with him. So I was taking time to prepare meals. But now that we're just home all the time, especially because I'm on summer vacation, so my son's with me all the time, I don't prepare any meals for him. So what happens is that I need to come up with what we're going to eat every day. And let me tell you, I do not come up with a different meal every day. That would be ridiculous. So I figured out for my son, but we don't always eat the same thing because a lot of times he likes to eat the same things over and over again, or, he's eating a piece of fruit and yogurt and something else and some sort of heartier thing. So I'm just working on then something for me. So I've come up with about 5 things and they're quick and simple. Depending on, what your level of time commitment is. So the first one that I always, my go-to one, especially in the summer, is chicken salad, or you could enjoy tuna salad also. But either way, I just buy it at the grocery store, the pre-made stuff, and then I just scoop it out onto a roll, and that is my lunch, and that is all I eat. I don't add any lettuce, I don't add any tomato or anything. That's just it. Then I know in 2 minutes I can make it, in 3 minutes I can eat it. So in 5 minutes I can make and eat my meal. You can also do it with tuna, I guess. I don't eat tuna, so I wouldn't know. But that is one of the things that I go to for lunch. I know, so I asked two of my friends, they're like, yeah, why don't you just say leftovers? In my family, there is no leftovers. Pretty much, if there is a leftover, it gets eaten by the next lunch, and there's not enough for me, or like it's enough for my son, but not enough for me. So that's not normally an option for me. The second thing that I, I do and I don't do, but sometimes I'll do like a Slim Fast shake or a Carnation Instant Breakfast shake or something like that. I would not go as far to say a smoothie because I think that would take too long. But Slim Fast or Carnation Instant Breakfast is milk and powder, and you stir it up and you drink it. I don't really enjoy doing those drinks, and I try not to do them often, but I've had to find something to tide me over if I need to have something in between my son eating and me needing to eat something in between when he goes. Normally he eats around 11:30 and he goes down around 12:30 for a nap. So sometimes I just need a little something to get me through so that at 12:30 then I can make something for myself. So that's what I've been trying to do. I've only done it like two or three times, but when it's really really hot, um I don't really eat as much. I'm finding that I'm eating so much less than I ever did before. Now that it's warmer out, which is helpful. So I'm actually, feeling better about myself, but it's definitely it's a challenge. So the third thing that I do, um, meal that I do is a pasta salad, and this is a little more challenging because this you actually have to do stuff beforehand. When I make pasta, like a pasta dish for the week, I do another box of pasta, and I cut up the vegetables and stuff like that while that pasta is cooking, and I mix it in. I don't even know if you're supposed to do it or not, but I just mix it all in when that pasta is done and then throw it in the refrigerator, and then I know it's ready for that week. And I kind of use whatever vegetables are around. I don't specifically buy them for my pasta salad, and I would not say it's very unique or challenging foods. I would love to add broccoli, but I it's been very hard to find like not non-frozen broccoli around here, and even broccoli to begin with is hard enough to find the frozen stuff. So normally I would put broccoli in it, but there just is none. So I will buy like a shredded carrots. I always have cherry tomatoes, so I do that. Cucumbers, olives, and I cut none of this stuff up. Well, obviously I cut the cucumber up, but I just like throw in the cherry tomatoes and I throw in the olives. I'll put in cheese. Sometimes I'll put in pepperoni, just to have some kick to it and whatnot. Um, but all in all, I mean, that doesn't take too long. The hardest part is like taking everything out of the different containers and throwing it into a bowl. But I try and do that and then just add the pasta and the dressing afterwards. So that's pretty much all I do. And then I could just eat that whenever. And that's a little easier for me to eat. Like I can kind of eat that on the go. And it's nice to have something cold when it's so hot out. It's been hot this week, if you can't tell. So that's why I'm talking about it so much. Let me think. The third, that was three things. So my fourth thing is kind of boring, but I'll scramble an egg really fast, maybe toast a piece of toast or a bagel, half a bagel, and just eat that. That's normally what I have for breakfast, so I don't do that too often, but sometimes I just need that protein or something that I totally need it, and that's just what I go to, and that's what I have. So I really, really enjoy that a lot. I I think it's just a simple thing to have and a simple thing to have around the house, so it's not really a big deal. It doesn't take too long. Sometimes I don't have the time to make an egg, and I know that seems weird, but um, my son does not like to take a break to eat. lunch, even though he is hungry. So it's not really his best time of day. So I don't always have time to even cook anything in that respect. So the last thing that I kind of do is a rotisserie chicken. I'll just have a rotisserie chicken and I'll cut it up and maybe throw it on top of a salad. And by salad, I mean lettuce, and just eat that. I have found that I don't really need a lot for lunch most days. I've been drinking lots of water, which is something I also struggled with for a long time. And I wouldn't say I have it under control now, um, but whenever my son, I take water with us wherever we go. If we're outside, go to the park, whatever. And whenever my son has water, I stop and I have water, and I have as much water as I physically can, so that I'm getting enough water in my body, because that is my biggest downfall, is definitely not getting enough water into my body. So that's one of the other things that I work on. And then there's always the tried and true. I might just, if we're out and it's like 11:15, I might just grab something. I have had no luck with Panera in this time period. It just does never seems to work. It's not fast to me. So I totally go to Arby's and I get a Coke float, and it's the best thing in the whole world. And it totally tides me over and gives me that little extra sugar boost that I always need. So, yeah, I will totally do that. No problem if I need to. And my son doesn't understand that. He knows that he can't have it. So that's not really a big deal. And then I still have to worry about my son's food. Um, so that's how I handle trying to do lunch. Sorry if you hear beeping. It's my son's monitor. He is asleep right now, so I'm just trying to watch him because I've already been interrupted twice. Um, if you don't know, by the start stop of my voice or the change of my voice, because my son did not want to go down, and then my husband needed me. So um, it's been a very interrupted conversation. So the second part is I'll kind of talk about some easy things to make for kids. Now, I would not say they're 100% healthy. I would say that I pretty much have feed my son like 3 or 4 different things, and that's it for lunch. I just don't have the creativity in me. I do always try and do leftovers with him if we have them. Normally, there's enough leftovers for my husband and my son to have something, but not for me. And I know what you're thinking, like maybe I could have it and then my son could have it, but then there would be like this little bit left over that I could not eat. So it doesn't always make sense for me to eat the leftovers and whatnot. So that is why I don't do that. So one of the easiest things that I make for my son is I just make, again, a box of pasta, and I just keep it in the refrigerator. And then if he wants, his big thing is pasta with fresh mozzarella cheese. So we have that a lot for lunch, and that's easy because I just have the pasta there, throw it in, throw some cheese, throw it in the microwave, and I'm all set. And then I'll do like a side of fruit with that. I do try and get into protein, but he's not really into protein too much. Sometimes with the rotisserie chicken, I'll just throw in some of that, like slivers of rotisserie chicken in with that so that he gets that. Another thing that I just do, my son doesn't have the patience a lot of times to eat. He will just have yogurt with fruit, and I'll put in some granola. I do make my own homemade granola like once a month. So when we have it, I put that in there too. Um, I'm trying to think. Obviously, peanut butter and jelly, the go to. He really likes bagels. And that was like a phase for a while where he just wanted a bagel. He's recently liked pizza bagels. So I've been making those pizza bagels, but ti the attention span and the time that it takes for me to make something for my son does not always equal pleasure in his food or eating his food. So sometimes, like a bagel or something that takes more than a minute to put together and warm up is not good enough for my son. He just loses interest and wants to go play or anything like that. He has lots of energy and he wants to do lots of things. So it's very hard to get him to eat. We have him stand to eat because we only have him sit at dinner, and that seems to actually help out a lot better. That he knows, okay, once a day I have to sit in this chair and I can do it for 20 minutes most days, and that's okay. I try doing 30 minutes and it's like torture on him and torture on us, and it's like why are we doing this? So, um uh, things that take more than a minute total to make and heat up are not normally something that I can do. He lots of times has interest in whatever I'm having, so sometimes he'll eat a little of the chicken salad, sometimes he'll eat some of the pasta salad, but he doesn't normally. Lately he doesn't like cold food at all, like nothing cold. So he wants me to heat up his cheese and heat up his pasta. Um, and he used to be very flexible. He used to just eat whatever was put in front of him. He didn't care the temperature. He would just eat it. I will say he's better with my husband than he is with me. He wants things a specific way when he's with me. I think he knows with daddy that daddy doesn't really cook. So he gets what he gets and he should be happy with that. um, so that's it. The hardest part for me has been trying to curb my son's sweets. We just started going back into the grocery store this week, maybe last week was the first time we went back into a store. And of course, my son wants all these things that I've never let him eat. I've never really given my son goldfish. I never gave him a lot of things. Um, if there's the word sugar in the ingredients and it's not natural, I don't normally give it to my son. Um, and I've been so giving into that lately. I actually bought goldfish, and now they're in like little bags that I have with me at all times, so that if we go into a store and he needs something to eat, we have it. Because we have to go to the grocery store and we have to get things, and I can't just have a screaming child the entire time. Although I'm sure no one cares because there's like no one at the grocery store when I go now. So I think more people are back at work, so it doesn't matter. And my grocery store is closing in a few months. And I tried to go to a different grocery store and I just hated it so much. So I'm like, I'll figure it out when I have to. But for right now, I am going to the closest grocery store to us and just living with that. And in a few months, I'll have to suffer and start going to larger places. We There are still so many things that I struggle to find in the grocery store, and it's like it's never the same thing, and it's random things, and there's limits still on chicken here, so um, I just end up going to more than one store now, and which I do not like at all. I hate having to go to more than one store. It just seems like such a waste at this point when you're not supposed to be in the stores as much, and now you have to go to multiple stores because you don't know what store has what. So, but that's what it is. So that's it. That's all my suggestions for foods to help anyone out that might need it. Um, or, when in doubt, I guess those frozen meals, if that's something that you're into, they never satisfy me. The portion size almost looks so small that it's like, oh my gosh, I can't just eat this. So that's why I don't really eat those. But anyways, you have to do what you need to do because you have to eat, um, and you have to drink water. That's the other thing. Just drink your water if you can. Figure it out. I have said so many times, because I used to be an actual distance runner. Um, so they have these camelbacks. They're like backpacks where you can sip on, and it holds like a liter and a half of water. And there's like a straw that you can get the water out with. I have said so many times to my husband that I'm just going to start walking around with that because we're just outside in our yard the majority of the time. And it's like, I might as well just do that because then I don't have to worry about carrying around water, and I'll be at least sipping some water here and there, and then I'm all set. But I haven't broken down to that yet, but I think because it's not hot enough yet. I think when it's consistently in the 90s, we will see. So, all right. So that will do it for the food part. I will do a little update about what's going on here in Connecticut. So, I guess this is the last full week of June. And it's so funny because everyone keeps talking about this on Disney Plus. Hamilton is coming on July 3rd, and people keep being like, "Oh, it's only this many days away." I'm like, "No, it's not. It's like a month away." And then no, it's really is in like 9 days. So uh, I've never seen Hamilton. I don't even really know too much about it. I mean, I know the gist of the story, so I'm kind of excited to be able to watch the original cast because that's exciting to me. So that I'm excited about, but that has nothing to do with what's going on here in Connecticut. Um, so I guess technically you were in phase two. It doesn't really feel like that. We It's very odd because each town seems to be doing their own thing at this point. There is no uniformity per town. So that's been a little different because I did not anticipate so many different things not being open all across the different towns. I had anticipated that all things would open in every town, one of them being the playground. We have been to the playground every day, but there's only one playground we've been able to go to, and I just would like to go to another playground, but it's not possible because no other surrounding towns have any playgrounds open. So we continue to go to the same playground every morning. And my son is very bored of it 3 weeks later. So I am hopeful that in July, maybe someone would open up another playground. And I think my frustration comes out in that there are theme parks open or amusement parks open in our state. So why could we not have a playground open for our kids? And again, no one has to take their kids to these playgrounds. They can just be available to be open, but they don't have to go to these playgrounds. But my child needs lots of running around and lots of uh, different types of movement. It can't just be the same stuff over and over again. So I am I'm really on the hunt for some new playgrounds for my son. So that's what's going on here. Today, the Connecticut, New York, New Jersey have issued that there is a 14-day quarantine. At first, it was like 3 states. It was like Florida, Alabama, and Arizona. And now it's up to like 9 or 10 states. And I'm not quite there. There's no, and it starts tonight. Like, so today they decided at noon, and 12 hours later it's going into effect. I have no idea what that means. I don't know if they are testing people. I don't know if they are following people. I don't know what they're doing to ensure that people are doing this 14-day quarantine who are coming from these other states. I remember in Florida, they still have a quarantine against Connecticut, New York, and New Jersey, and it is still in effect, and there is no expiration date. There was an expiration date, and now there's not an expiration date. So, no one seems, I would rather it, everyone just follow the same rules. It's very hard with the different states, and in your own state, your own towns make different rules. So it's too many rules at this point. It's just like, could the rules just be wear a mask, don't go out if you don't need to, and social distance? Uh, like I don't know what else to say. Um, so that's the issue that I'm having right now, is just keeping up with all the rules. It seems to just change day in and day out. One of the excitinger, more exciting things, sorry, I need a nap. The more exciting things is that Disney is opening, so you can book the first half of 2021 this year. So my travel agent is working on that right now, and I'm very glad I have a travel agent because if you don't know Disney's online system, you might think it's working, but it's not. And there have been people who have been waiting for hours trying to book their reservations, and I'm anxious for my travel agent to book mine, but I do know that the systems are currently down, so that's literally impossible right now. So it can only be done on the phone. So I'm sure she's calling about 50,000 reservations in right now. So I just sit and wait, and then I just pay my little deposit, and I'm all set. So, anyways, that's pretty much it for that. I don't really have any other updates other than that. So next week, more amusement parks open here in Connecticut, and those are the bigger ones. So we're going to see how that goes. We don't know anything about July 4th yet with fireworks in our area. I would feel like this would be something that people would know by now, but for some reason we don't. I know in the United States it's been a big issue with fireworks and different households just setting off fireworks all the time. We have, knock on wood, been very lucky that we have not really had that situation. And actually, we normally have in the past had that situation a lot. And for some reason, I guess people are actually being nice and not doing that right now. So we'll see, though, next week how that all goes. I'm sure I'm sure next week there will be something, especially because 4th of July is on a weekend. So we'll see how that all goes. But anyways, I hope that everyone has. Oh, I have to do the thing that I love about my son this week. Um, I really, really love that my son has become so independent at the playground. He has worked. I mean, granted, he's there many hours of the day, but he has worked very hard. We call it, he's mastered the playground. He can climb ladders. He can do more challenging things than have anticipated. He's using the 5 to 12 year old playground, and he'll still go play on the younger one. But I mean, he really likes the big slides. He's a thrill seeker, so um, it's just so great to see him do, like, conquer these things, and he's so proud of himself that he can, climb up and do all these things. So it's just great to see. So that will wrap up our show. I will encourage you to follow me on social media, meaning Instagram. I really don't follow up with any of my other um, different social medias, but at Mommy Escape Time, if you want to follow on Instagram. I don't post a lot. I do post a lot of Black Lives Matter stuff. I have been trying to weekly email and call different places just to get justice for a lot of different people. And it's sad that there are so many cases out there that some of them I knew about um, before this recent surge, and some of them are new to me. So I just encourage you to care about those things, and even if you just copy and paste one email, it just makes such a difference. I think about how much people have done. So we got to keep at it because it's very important. When you're a mother, you don't want to hear about anyone else's child. You can't. It's not fair, you know? So we got to take care of everyone's children, not just our own. So, everyone, stay safe. Have a wonderful week, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.